I was pacing my tiny living room, bouncing my baby girl, Hazel, against my shoulder, while her whole body trembled in hot waves. Her forehead was burning. Her breathing was shallow. Every little whimper felt like someone was squeezing my ribs together. It was 7:14 a.m. The sky outside was still gray, the floor cold under my feet, my entire body running on fear instead of sleep. Please subscribe to our channel and tell you sin comments from where are you watching this video. Come on, baby, I whispered, rocking her gently. Stay with me, okay? Mommy's here. Her hand scrunched the fabric of my shirt like she was holding on for life. I grabbed my phone and dialed my parents. They always bragged about being 5 minutes away and family sticking together. They answered on the fourth ring. My mom's voice was already annoyed. What is it now? Mom, I said, breath shaking. Hazel's fever shot up. She's shaking and she's barely breathing right. I need a ride. My car won't start. My mom sighed so loudly it crackled through the phone. Again with the crisis theatrics? She muttered. I blinked because I couldn't believe she said that while my baby's head felt like fire in my hands. We're going to be late, my sister Ava said in the background, her voice muffled but snappy. Tell her to call an Uber. Peace is important today. My mom repeated it louder so I could hear. Your sister's yoga class starts in 20 minutes. She needs her calm. I stared at the wall because it felt like the room tilted sideways. Mom, my baby is burning. She can't breathe right. Please, please just come get us. My dad spoke for the first time, voice flat and cold like morning metal. We're not driving all the way there for a little hot forehead. Hazel always cries. That's her personality. I swallowed. She's not crying. She's shaking. Ava scoffed. Maybe if you parented better, she wouldn't be such a dramatic child. My chest tightened. Hazel's tiny fingers kept twitching against my shoulder. She needs help, I snapped. My mom's tone sharpened like a knife. And I need peace, for once, for one morning. You're not ruining Ava's class over your child's crying diseases. I froze. What did you just say? You heard me, she said louder. Peace comes first, not your whatever Hazel has. She always has something. I closed my eyes, breath breaking. Mom! We're leaving, she cut in. Call someone else, or deal with it. That's your kid, not ours. Then she hung up. I stood there in the middle of my living room with the dial tone buzzing in my ear, my daughter burning in my arms, my parents choosing yoga over her life. Hazel suddenly jerked, her breath hitching, her skin flush and clammy. I panicked. I grabbed my keys, praying the engine would magically start. I ran downstairs, Hazel against my chest, her little body twitching. Every few seconds. The second I reached the parking lot, I tried the ignition again. Nothing. Not even a click. Hazel whimpered. I called my parents again. No answer. Called Ava. Straight to voicemail. I felt tears blur the air, but I didn't stop. I wasn't collapsing today. I sprinted across the street to my neighbor, Mrs. Gomez, banging on her door like I was drowning. She opened it instantly, wearing her robe and slippers. What's wrong? She asked, eyes wide when she saw Hazel's shaking. My baby, she needs a ride. Please, my parents. I couldn't finish the sentence. She didn't even hesitate. Get in the car, she said. Now. She grabbed her keys, guiding me as Hazel whimpered louder, her forehead glowing red in the sunlight. Inside the car, my hands kept brushing Hazel's hair, whispering, Hold on, baby, hold on, even though I felt like I was dying inside. We reached the clinic in 7 minutes. Every bump in the road made Hazel's body jolt. Every second felt like hours. Inside, nurses rushed toward us the moment they saw her, took her from my arms, and hurried her behind double doors. I stood there with my hands empty, shaking so hard I thought my knees would give. Mrs. Gomez touched my arm. She's okay, sweetheart. She's in the right place. I nodded but couldn't breathe. I pulled out my phone. Still no messages, no missed calls, nothing from my parents, nothing from my sister, nothing from the people who should have cared more than anyone. I sat in the plastic chair, my body trembling, feeling that familiar old ache, the one I learned as a child. the reminder that to them, my suffering was a footnote to their comfort. I waited, and waited, and waited. Finally, a nurse came out. "She's stable," she said softly. "We cooled her down. She needed treatment immediately. You brought her just in time." I nodded, my lips trembled. "Thank you." But beneath my relief, something else brewed, something deep, something sharp, something that felt like a crack opening inside me, letting in a kind of clarity I'd never known before. They didn't care. Not about me, not about Hazel, not about anything but themselves. And for the first time in my life, I stopped making excuses for them. For the first time, I let myself feel the wrongness. All of it, every insult, every dismissal, every choice they made that screamed I didn't matter. And I felt something in my chest shift, not breaking, realigning, because nothing about what happened today was going to be forgiven. And when the nurse placed Hazel back in my arms, warm but steady, safe for now, I knew exactly what I needed to do next, but it wouldn't be loud, and it wouldn't be dramatic. It would be real. It would be earned. It would be something they'd never see coming, because the moment they chose yoga over my baby's life, they chose their own consequences too, and I wasn't saving them from anything ever again. I took Hazel home that afternoon, her breathing steadier, her body relaxed against me as she slept. The clinic smell lingered in her clothes, antiseptic and fear mixed together, a reminder of the morning I would never erase. The moment I stepped inside my apartment, my phone buzzed. Not from my parents, not from Ava, from my landlord. Rent reminder. Final notice. I stared at it, chest tightening. I had been juggling bills, formula, medicines, everything alone. My job barely covered rent, the car repair I kept postponing. And this morning, it proved I couldn't count on anyone. Not them, not my sister, no one but myself and the tiny girl in my arms. Hazel whimpered lightly in her sleep. I kissed the top of her head, whispering, "Mommy's got you, I promise." But right as I placed her in her crib, my front door shook with 3 loud bangs. Then 4 more. My mother's voice pierced the silence. "Open the door. We saw your little drama on Facebook." I froze. I hadn't posted anything. My brain raced as I walked toward the door and opened it. My parents and Ava barged in like they owned the place. Ava brushed past me and wrinkled her nose. "Ugh, it smells like hospital in here." My dad glanced around the room, judgment on his face like always. "You couldn't at least clean before we came?" I blinked. "Why are you here?" My mom scoffed. "Why do you think? You embarrassed your sister today." I stared at her. Ava crossed her arms. "My yoga instructor texts me personally, you know. And because of your meltdown, I was 15 minutes late. 15! He had to restart the breathing cycle." My jaw dropped. "You're here because you were late to yoga?" My mom took a step closer until her perfume choked the air. "You made us look like bad parents," she snapped. "People at the studio were whispering after your neighbor posted that pathetic story." My stomach churned. Mrs. Gomez must have posted about helping me. I didn't even see it. My mom's voice sharpened, dripping with disgust. "You should have kept your mouth shut. You make everything worse whenever you open it." I clenched my fists. "You left Hazel when she needed emergency care." "She could have..." Ava raised her hand to my face mockingly. "Blah, blah, blah. Spare us. Your child always has some dramatic issue. If she's that fragile, that's your failure." My dad pointed a finger at me. "You're draining this family with your crises, and now you're dragging our reputation down with you." My voice came out low and tight. "You didn't care about her life, not even a little." My mom laughed. It wasn't normal laughter. It was cold, confident, like she believed she was untouchable. "We don't have time to play doctor every time Hazel makes noise," she said. "You chose to have her. You chose the consequences." Then she said the exact line that would burn into my memory forever. "Your child's. Life never outranks your sister's peace. Never." My blood boiled. Something inside me, some last thin string, snapped quietly. Ava flicked her hair over her shoulder. Anyway, we need a favor. We're going out of town this weekend, and Mom said you can watch my dog. I stared at them. They ignored my silence. My mom, you're not working anymore, so surely you can handle a dog for 2 days. My dad, and clean this place. It's embarrassing. Ava, give the dog my old room. My angel deserves comfort. And then my mother clapped her hands together like she'd decided the conversation was over. Good, so we'll drop him off Friday. They turned toward the door. I didn't say a word. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry again. I didn't beg. I didn't argue. I just stood there, watching the 3 people who'd abandoned my baby girl and then barged into my home demanding I serve them. My mother opened the door and called back without looking at me. Next time your kid has one of her episodes, don't call us. We need calm in our lives. Ava smirked. Yeah, stop being dramatic every time she breathes weird. My father muttered, we should have taught you resilience. Instead, we raised a burden. Then they left, the door slamming behind them. Silence filled the room. Hazel shifted in her crib. My chest rose and fell with slow, steady breaths. Because for the first time, I didn't crumble. I didn't feel weak. I felt sharp, focused, awake. They had no idea what they just triggered, because I wasn't their servant anymore. I wasn't their burden. I wasn't their punching bag. I was a mother. And they had crossed the final line. This time, they weren't walking away untouched. This time, the consequences were coming, and they were real. When they begged me for peace later, they were going to learn exactly what it felt like when I stopped providing it, for good. 3 days later, Friday came. They really showed up. Ava stood at my door holding her tiny white dog like a royal accessory. My dad carried its food bowl. My mom held a bag of toys. For the dog, not for Hazel. They didn't even greet me. Ava pushed the dog into my arms. Don't screw this up. He's sensitive. My mom added, more sensitive than your daughter, clearly. My dad laughed under his breath. They turned to leave, but this time, I didn't let them. Wait. They stopped. I stood taller. My arm didn't shake. My voice didn't tremble. You're not coming inside, I said, and you're definitely not dumping your dog on me. Ava frowned like no one had ever told her no in her life. What are you talking about? This is your job. My mom scoffed. You don't get to refuse us. I tilted my head. Actually, I do. I stepped aside, revealing the uniformed man in my living room. Animal control. Their faces dropped. Ava's eyes went wide. What is he doing here? I held up the form. I recorded what happened at the park last month. The way you kicked that loose dog because it ran near your kid? Turns out that's a reportable offense. Repeated aggression toward animals. Ava took a step back. That was one time. The officer shook his head. Ma'am, combined with the report we received today from your neighbor about you leaving this dog outside for hours yesterday, this is now an investigation. My mother snapped, This is ridiculous. Who would file something like that? I met her eyes. I did. Ava's jaw dropped. You did what? My voice stayed calm. You left my baby during a medical emergency to go to yoga. Now you want me to babysit your dog while you relax out of town? No. This time you deal with consequences. The officer took the dog gently from my arms. Ava screamed. No, he's my baby. You can't take him. My father barked. You're destroying this family. I stepped forward, inches from them. No. You destroyed it the moment you decided my child's life was less important than a yoga session. My mother tried to shove me. The officer blocked her. Ma'am, step back. She hissed. You're sick, turning on your own parents. I stared straight into her eyes. You shut the door on me and my newborn at my lowest point. Today, I'm shutting the door on you. And I did. I closed it in their faces. Their banging shook the hallway. Ava was crying, my dad shouting, my mom cursing. But none of it touched me anymore. Hazel reached her arms toward me from her crib, her little face soft, safe, loved. I picked her up and whispered, We're done with them. Later that night, I received a text. Mom, return our peace. We need you. I deleted it. Peace was never theirs. It was mine and Hazel's. And now, finally, they couldn't touch it. Please subscribe to our channel and tell you in comments from where are you watching this video.